Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie Milkey, and I have, actually a lot of things I want to talk to you about. But here's the deal. I just actually want to say Happy New Year, and don't let the new year pass you by. So as you're tuning in, I want to know, I actually would love to just ask you the question, what are some goals that you have for the new year? If you say New Year's resolutions, if you like to say goals, some people are like, I have one word. Some people are like, I physically have somebody in my home that says, not my family. We have tons of people in my home right now. But the conversation was, I don't set goals, so therefore I'm not going to fail. Like, we've had a lot of conversations about goals, resolutions, what this next year is going to look like. And so it's been really fun. And actually, if you're listening closely, you can probably hear, I'm kind of being exaggerative, but at least 30 people in my living room. I'm from Minnesota. I am a mom. I have an incredible husband. His name is Steve. We have 4 daughters, and we live in Minnesota, and also that means the Vikings are playing right now. So as they're all screaming, I snuck away because who really likes to watch the beginning of the game anyways? So tell me, where are you tuning in from? Have you done your vision boards? And honestly, I wanted to give you a couple things to think about as we have this new year. I couldn't help it. I'm like, I have to come on. It's Sunday. I don't always do lives on Sundays. I'll be real honest with you. Yeah, schools. Somebody said schools. Okay. I married into a football family. I actually was born and raised by a medical family, so football was not a part of my life until I married my incredible husband. And we have a lot of friends outside of the door screaming and yelling for the Vikings. So anyways, I wanted to hop on here because first of all, I just want to say Happy New Year. And the conversation all day, whether it was at church, sitting around our kitchen table, our children, our vision boards. I just presented my vision board to my mother, who was sitting outside, and really just talking about what we want out of this year. Even at church this morning, it was like, what do we want out of this year? And so if you tune in at any point in time on this page, you can go to ketomomsecrets.com. So it's our blog. It is our website. You can click on book club, recipes, how to get started, whatever you're looking for, and I'm here to help. You can scroll through this page. You guys, we've been on social media for 7.5 years of just sharing our life. And it's been pretty fun to actually get to know a ton of you, to get to know people all over the world. I love it when you comment because I like to say collaboration is currency. This is not just about me and my family, and I'm not a doctor, but I've learned a lot over the 7.5 years. And actually, I've really shifted my mindset from keto to basically understanding how people's brains work, why they choose and make the decisions that they do, understanding emotions, understanding mindset, understanding like low carb versus keto and what actually works for people. So at any point in time, you can send me a message and I will answer you. I will help guide you and give you some ideas of what has helped us. Now, in the mornings, I said we were going to start this book today. I kind of forgot that the first was a Sunday. So tomorrow morning, we are officially starting our new book, and it's called Your Divine Fingerprint. And so we're going to go through a book together. And I like to go through the books just to give you something to think about. If you have the book, awesome. If you don't have the book, you can tune in, listen, and hopefully get something to take you through your day and give you something to think about. Now, also, here's a couple things I wanted to give you if you are in that mindset of resolutions. How many of you are setting a New Year's resolution? How many of you are going, I actually need to set some goals this year? Maybe you're watching and you're like, I'm actually not a goal setter. My sister, who's outside the door, would actually tell you that. She's like, I'm not going to set any goals. I don't like to set goals. I don't want to fail. I don't agree with that. So I'm working on her I was like, Brittany, my sister's name is Brittany. If you've seen her on my stories, and I showed her my vision board, and I was like, why would you not want a board to just track some progress throughout your year? Oh, shoot, it's backwards. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I didn't flip my camera. But in general, I've created this vision board. We, the Keto Mom community, went through a book called Dream It, Pin It, Live It. Backwards. Actually, I'm going to show you something. You guys want to see something fun? Watch very closely. Just watch. Isn't that fun? All right. I had to flip the camera because it drives me nuts. So if you have a vision board, if you have dreams and goals, if you want to share them with me, I'd love to help. If you don't really know how to get it on paper, I have 4 dogs too as well. And usually people in and out of my home. So it's a little wild and crazy. So ignore that. We'll see how long they bark. Okay, so here's something I actually did want to show you because I think it's super important. Oh, shoot. I think I hit the camera. Did I hit the camera? All right, you ready? If you are taking notes, if you are watching, if you're like, all right, Stephanie, I'm going to set New Year's resolutions. I wrote down a couple of things that I think are super important so that you don't be like, oh, good grief. So you're not, I'm saying that about my dogs. So you're not like, I don't even know the statistics. They were talking about it at church today. And he was like, the average, most people set a New Year's resolution. Half the time it's the same thing as last year. If you don't want the same results this year, then we're going to have to look at what you did and make some pivots. But in general, most people start something or then quit by February. So how are we not going to do that? How can you be the 1%, the 3% that actually get to this time next year feeling accomplished, reaching some of those goals, having better finances, better relationships, physical health? I was just talking about all of my health goals with my family. What does that look like? And I have visuals to show you. Number one, I want you to find an accountability partner. And if all that means is you legitimately log on to and I'm not saying this about me, but I can help you with this. If you don't have anybody physically in your presence or in your environment to help you, where you don't feel like you can reach out to somebody and go, I actually need some support or accountability. Will you help me? Right? It could be a coworker, friend, sister, mom, brother, whoever. Then send me a message. I would love to help you and I can give you some ideas. Even I tell people, I have women every day that message me and they're like, here's what I ate today. And they solely use it for accountability. So whatever that looks like, accountability will, number one, help you get past the 30-day start and stop, like the average person, right? Number two, I want you to prepare. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So I have a vision board, but I also have, I'm going to put this in my gym tonight. And so we go to CrossFit almost every day with our daughters, but I also have different goals. I have a specific goal to do an unassisted pull-up. Therefore, if I'm going to do it, I wrote down, it looks kind of kiddish, but this is how my brain works. And I have every single day of the month, and I'm going to do these 10 pull-ups that my trainer told me how to do. I need to stretch and walk. I'm not sure how often I'm going to do this one. I have to get specific right here. And when I do it, I really want to do it every day. Now, am I going to beat myself up if all of a sudden I go all these days and then miss a day? No, but I'm going to cross these days off because I'm a visual person. I have my specific goals written down. I'm working on functional fitness. You might hear me say I do CrossFit, but CrossFit to me is functional fitness where I can get stronger. We were legitimately just talking about people's health out, and I'm pointing to my living room. And my mom's out there. Steve's grandma was here. My sister, we've got people that are all over on their health journey. So we were doing a very basic functional move. And I said, people need to, number one, I need to stretch because I want to be able to get off my chair when I'm 80. This sounds silly, but I'm for real. I don't want to lose muscle mass. So my mom is in her 60s and she's sitting out there and she's like, I actually am going to join the gym this week because in her 60s, she's like, I'm realizing how much muscle I have lost. She is an incredible ER. My mom's an ER nurse, always on her feet. She gets in so many steps and she's like, it's shocking how fast I'm losing muscle, even with lifting people and even with her work, which is pretty active and strenuous on her body. She said, I've noticed I'm losing muscle. And so my husband is over here. But I just was like, I want functional fitness. I want to be able to get off the floor, get off the couch, like not hurt, be flexible, and keep and retain muscle. First of all, if you're watching and you're like, well, what does this have to do with the keto diet? Did you know that ketones actually preserve muscle? So I've learned that from many doctors over the last 7.5 years. I drink ketones. And so I actually feel like I'm retaining muscle, and I'm about to be 40 here in less than 2 months. But I'll tell you this, ketones in general preserve muscle. So if you've actually never tried my mom fuel, y'all better try some. We've got a super fun promo for the next 2 days. But if you've never tried this, I'll talk about this later, post trial in the comments, and then we'll chat. But my goal is functional fitness for this year. What would you like to say? Oh, Is this making sense? All right, so I have my vision board. I have my fitness goal. So we talked about accountability. We talked about preparing. So I have that prepared. Or even just telling yourself, like, what do I actually want? I was talking with my friend Jolene, and we've been chatting all day. And she goes, you know what's so interesting, Stephanie? She goes, sometimes we listen to people, and you guys are listening to me right now. Thank you, right? But sometimes you listen to people and you just think what they said is true. And I'm like, you're right. She goes, I've often listened to things in the past, and she goes, I'm actually realizing I do a lot of things because it's the way that my mom did or my sister does. It's the way that we've always done it. And she's asking herself why. Why do I not meal prep? Why do I feel like here's the biggest conversation we had today at lunch. She said, why do I feel like I get so frustrated with meals because I get bored of food? That was our biggest conversation. And I said, you want to know what I feel like causes most people to fail with their food and not prepping food? It's because they're bored with meals. And so she's like, man, we were talking about some people that we know, some athletes that we know, people that do long runs. And she was like, they all have a very regimented routine. They have exactly what they eat for breakfast or the intermittent fast. They have their ketones, their drink, their protein. They have exactly what they eat for lunch. Like, they take the guesswork out of it. They take the decision making out of it. And all of a sudden they've got this routine. And while they're eating the same basic meals for a certain period of time, she's like, if I did that, it would mean that I already would have it planned. I wouldn't fail. I wouldn't waste 30 minutes in the kitchen trying to figure out what to eat. And I shouldn't tell myself I'm bored. This whole conversation is something I actually talk to with a lot of you and a lot of people, just because the conversations are, I'm bored of food. I'm bored of food. And it would be interesting to know, as silly as this may sound, like, we can be bored of food because we have so much excess. But years ago, and I would say like in Laura Ingalls Wilder days, because our girls love Little House on the Prairie, like, hello, they did not have 30 different options. So this might be a season where you might have to go, you know what? I'm actually going to do a vision board. I'm going to actually take some time and plan and prepare. I'm going to be okay and not tell myself I'm bored, but I'm actually going to be okay with either intermittent fasting or having the same breakfast, having my 3 options for lunch and having a great meal or dinner with my family. But it might be out of 7 meals. And that's going to be my year, so I'm not overwhelmed. So many people look at food and get overwhelmed because, for whatever the case may be, and then they just give up. So think about this. If you can simplify what you're eating, writing things down, planning, you can conquer your year. So we're doing this in our business. My friend Jolene was like, well, one of our words or a phrase we like to say is we like to simplify and conquer. I would encourage you, as you are either dreaming or getting vision boards written out, writing out your goals, you have the resolutions, like whatever that looks like for you, whatever verbiage you use, how do I simplify what I'm working towards and so I can conquer it? Simplify and conquer. So meal planning, get an accountability partner, being okay with being okay and not having 30 different meals, but like 7 is okay. And then the last thing I would say is this. We also talked about reflecting on this last year. So take some time over this next couple days and go, what are some things that really worked well for us last year? What were some really good yeses? And what are some things that we probably should have said no to or didn't serve me or my family or wasn't our best yes? And I say that for a reason. So something that we like to do and I need to do better at this year is called a remember wall. And excuse me, when we have something that we have been praying for, a goal we have been striving for, something that we are believing for, we will write it down as January goes through and February, and we'll just keep track of things so that when we have a bad day, or maybe I didn't get my functional fitness in, maybe the day, because we can't always plan how things are going to happen. So when we have a day or a couple days where things don't go your way, and if I were to go, oh, this is terrible, I'm going to give up, it's easy to forget our past. Okay, let me phrase it. There's a couple ways I want to phrase this. You want to be able to remember all of the blessings so that when you have a hard day, you can go back and go, I'm not going to give up because I lost the 10 pounds. I was able to walk further. I have a better relationship with my teenager. We paid off a credit card. Like, you can remember those things. It's so easy to forget, right? So I would challenge you to reflect a little bit And then I'm going to tell you to do something after that. I want you to reflect on your past and then realize your past is in the past. And so in order to move forward this year, you're going to have to get laser focused and stop looking behind you, thinking that the best years were behind you when the best years are in front of you. Our pastor talked, no, not our pastor, but a guest speaker that came to our church, they said that. He said so many people are still going, my best years were behind me. Oh, I wish we could relive 2018. Oh, I wish. He's like, how in the world can you ride a bike and go forward and yet look behind you? You can't. How in the world can you drive a car and look forward and look behind you? You can't. It's the same with your life and your goals. So if you actually want to achieve something, what I want you to do is take some time to reflect, figure out what worked for you, things you want to keep this year, your best yes, your best no, have some awareness, write some things down, and then the past is done, right? Oftentimes I'm coaching people on, like, I get it. You were hurt in your past. You've got unforgiveness. People did you wrong. I understand you emotionally eat. Like, I understand all of that. There comes a point in life, and today might be that time where you draw a line in the sand and you're like, all right, the past is in the past. My best days are in front of me, and I'm going to move forward with the things that I truly want to accomplish. And it really is up to you, right? And you can seek counsel and seek help. That's why I say get an accountability partner. I apologize for my dogs. Ask for help. Don't forget things. And really, that's why I want to come on here and talk about. So loud in my house. I'm trying so hard to stay focused. So, are you going to go? Are you going? Are you saying? Okay. Anyway, so I hope this is helpful. At any point in time, if you have questions about keto and food and low carb and how to get started, you can do one, message me. You can ask questions below. You can go to ketomomsecrets.com, message me, and I would love to help. I want to help you. This is what I'm blessed to do. I get to do. I love to come on. I love to see your comments. I am, I would say that I used to say just my husband was a visionary, but I love to see people succeed. I love to go. Some of you are sending me your vision boards. It's so fun to see that you've got goals. They're specific. You're excited for something new. So that's it. I want to say Happy New Year. I hope that you're looking at this new year with excitement and not like, another new year. I would encourage you that, like, just walk through this next week. Ask yourself, it's okay to ask yourself questions. Why do I do this? Why do I feel this way? Can it be fixed? Should I choose something different? What am I really wanting in my life? What do you want, right? Not what does your mom want you to do from 20 years ago or your boss. I mean, like, there's an aspect of who you're working for, but like, what do you truly want? What's in your heart? And let's go after it. So I want to say thank you for tuning in. Continue to tune in. We'll start this book tomorrow. As always, you can go to ketomomsecrets.com, click on recipes, click on book club, whatever you're looking for. If you've never tried Mom Fuel, post trial in the comments and we'll chat. Otherwise, continue to tune in. This year is a focus of simplify and conquer, but also we're diving into intermittent fasting, honestly, and keeping it simple. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys have an incredible day.